from
What do you want
105
in your
to the
offensive lineman?
The same thing that I want from every player on offense, and that is to create violence in the game, be aggressive, run, hit. I think that every decision that we make schematically needs to lean that direction. So if there's gray area, what is going to allow these guys to play more free and run and hit and be violent?
What's good, people? It's your boy, Mr. Rome, Cowboys Fan Talk, right back. Like I never left, the coaches have spoken today. Great day, great day. I know it is drought season for Cowboys news, right before we ramp up for the combine, draft, OTAs, voluntary, all that stuff starts to snowball, and then we blink, training camp, we back in the season. So right now is a little bit of a drought period right before free agency, and news is few and far between, but we got some great news today because the coaches spoke. All of the coaches from the staff that I talked about the other day, they actually got a chance to speak to the Cowboys media and give their thoughts on their players before they build the rest of the roster, the current players that gives you clues of who will be here. Talking about Diggs and Bland, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I just think it's super dope because as you heard that clip from Clayton Adams, new offensive coordinator Clayton Adams, with a background in offensive line, he wants to establish an identity, create violence. Let's just be real, man. We've had players, D-Law, Donovan Wilson when he was in his prime, when he was really, you know what I'm saying? Certain Zeke, certain players that would create violence. Tyler Smith, maybe Zach Martin, just certain players. Cooper Beebe likes to dirt people, but not as a unit. We didn't create violence as a unit. The Cowboys 100% have been looked at as a finesse team. And all I keep hearing from all these coaches is creating an identity. That's what keeps standing out to me, creating an identity. Everybody taking onus on their expertise, their area, their room, and talking about how to create an identity for your room. Overall, creating an identity for the team. But physicality, playing with a purpose, playing with an edge is something I'm getting from all these coaches. I want to start reading some of these quotes. Like I said, I'll let you hear Clayton Adams talk. And Clayton Adams, the quote really stood out to me because I do want to establish an identity. I do want them to play physical. I want those type of things to stand out. And I really, really feel like that. Another thing he said is that our job when we're putting things on the call sheet is to be problem solvers. We're trying to figure out what we do good and how we make that look multiple. That's something we ain't been doing as Cowboys. Like as coaches, as a team, we've been predictable. We haven't looked multiple. We haven't looked expansive. It's like Mike wanted to line up and just do what we did. No, and every once in a while throw a jet sweep in there. It was frustrating. How do we make things look different? And that's the
Connor is. I've actually known him a long time. He and I have never worked together. We've talked football many times. Spent, for guys that have never worked together, probably a fair amount of time together. And then I always think this is you can assess offensive lines or any position group really when you're evaluating what you think that a coach does, but nothing speaks like the tape. And one thing that I've always respected about Connor Riley over the years of just evaluating his players coming out in the draft and even just evaluating his scheme when I was coaching in college, the players play good. And he's had good players too, but that's your responsibility as a position coach is what's on the tape. Are they doing it right? Are they playing violent? Are they finishing? Those are the things that you look for.
And that's the part I'm really looking forward to focusing on. How do we make things look different? Because they kept Schottenheimer for continuity. But continuity doesn't mean that you can't remix things. I love to hear Clayton Adams say that. Another thing that stood out to me, I wanted to talk about Matt. I'm going to say Matt Eberflus for the end and him talking about Micah. Let's talk about the cornerback coach, Andre Curtis. Andre Curtis talked about Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland, two corners known for from taking the ball away. This quote stood out to me. He said, "I believe success leaves clues. The special stuff comes out when the players are in position." details, being in position. That makes sense. Success leaves clues. I like that because it means he's detail oriented. As the passing game coordinator, you need to be detail oriented in a so-called passing league that's moving towards a running league. Another thing that stood out today, let's talk about cornerbacks coach. This is more secondary stuff. David Overstreet, a Dallas native, brings a ton of energy. I love this quote from David Overstreet. Love this quote. When the ball is in the air, that's our ball. That means he doesn't want it anymore, as in the quarterback. He threw it at you. That means he thinks his guy is better than you are. That speaks volumes. That speaks playing with an edge. Like, yo, if the quarterback threw at you, he thinks you are bad. If you want a more expansive quote, go check out Patrick No.C. Walker because he broke it down. He had the full quote. But basically just saying, yo, if the quarterback's throwing at you, he thinks you're the weak link. What you going to do about it? That type of challenging talk to your players can get a little bit more out of them than maybe somebody else might. I like that. I really do like it. And you can call me, you can say you overhyping coach speak. Then stop watching. But for the people that care about this stuff, man, I like what he said. I like what Overstreet said. Because, like I said, it's all about establishing identity. It's all about establishing an identity. From what Clayton Adams said to Curtis to Overstreet, and another person that said something today that stood out, Connor Riley, our new offensive line coach. He was asked about one player. And in a second, I haven't forgotten, in a second, I'm going to play a video, and you can hear Matt Eberflus talk about what he wants to do, in helping our new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, which I think is super dope, and what he wants to do with Micah. But give me a second. Let me get to Connor Riley. Connor Riley, offensive line coach, talking about working with Tyler Guyton. I see tremendous talent who has quite honestly not been playing a lot of offensive line. Because remember, Tyler Guyton ain't play a lot of offensive line. He played like 8 games at Oklahoma, 8 to 9 games at right tackle. Like he's still raw. I'm not co-signing him saying he's going to be an all-pro. I'm saying he's raw, and the young man needs more than just a season. I know y'all want to throw him in the trash and start over because offensive line gurus y'all like to start over. Y'all don't like coaching. But when it comes to like the receivers, like all the Jalen's, let's develop them. But offensive line, oh no development. I'm on to y'all. Y'all hypocritical. But he said the sky is truly the limit for a young man like that. I just like that he's putting confidence back into Tyler Guyton, because all he's gotten is torn down. Tyler Guyton got torn down by fans, including me, players. It's just his confidence is probably broken. It needs to be broken down and reestablished. So it's good to hear your new offensive line coach speaking highly of you in his first interview with the team. That's super dope. Now let's talk about Matt Eberflus before I play this video. Matt Eberflus said one thing. Pretty simple. We take the ball away and we stop the run. In a league that's going to the running game, that's how you start. But hold on, let me play this clip.
And Brian, so exciting.
As a former head coach, how do you help Brian, as a first-year head coach?
Yeah, and again, the first couple of meetings I had with him, I said, I'm here for you. I want to really just do a good job of bouncing ideas off of me, experiences that I had, and just working together, to be able to utilize me, because I do have the experience of being a head coach for him, and to make his job easier.
How important was it for you to bring some of your guys from Chicago and Indy with you here?
Yeah, I wanted to really have just a clear view of what I did the interview process with Brian Schottenheimer, to be able to look and see at the defensive staff. And we brought some guys here, but we got some new faces too. I always believe that having new ideas in your staff every single year is important to be able to do that. And we're changing and adjusting our scheme every single year, and it has to grow every single year to really be in front of the league, so to speak, but also to really utilize your skill sets of the players you have currently on your roster.
Getting back to Mike, how many conversations have you had with him already? And certainly this is his third defensive coordinator, I think, or maybe fourth since he's been in the league. Obviously different systems, and have you impressed him on the importance of using him to the best of his ability and moving him around like he's done in the past, or what's the focus there?
Yeah, I really can't talk much football at this time of year with the guys. Just talk with him more personally what he was doing. I think he was at Disney with his kids at the time, but he knows that we'll adjust and make him in the best light that he can be in, in terms of position, in terms of pass rush, and really utilizing what he does best, and that's rushing.
I loved hearing that. I loved hearing that he acknowledges. This is the thing that stood out to me too. They started to try to talk ball. What you gonna do with Micah? Where you gonna put him? Chest plate, chest piece, chest piece. Listen, man, I just want to get to know him. I called him. He at Disney World with his family. Probably told him, yo, have fun. We'll catch up when you get back. It's February. I know we're going to get the X's and O's, and we're going to start finding the best way to use you. But can I get to know you first? How you doing? What's your middle name? Micah, what's going on with you? This your family? How your family doing? These your babies? Like, let's get to know each other. Let's build a bond, because this ain't like Mike Zimmer. No disrespect to Mike Zimmer, but unfortunately, he was set up. Mike was given a one-year deal. It's hard to build a bond when you know you're probably going to be gone, and he was right. Hopefully, Eberflus and the rest of the coaching staff are going to be here for a while. They signed multi-year deals. So let's start off by building a relationship, a good, healthy one. Because I know you're on your third defensive coordinator, fourth defensive coordinator. I want to build a relationship with you. I want to be a constant. I like that. I like that he spoke on Trayvon Diggs, who I've been getting a lot of feelings that he's on the outs. But to say I got two of the best corners in the league, Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland. Breeding confidence into your players is important. It's important. It sounds silly, but it's important. Breeding confidence. You know what I'm saying? Establishing an identity. That's the thing I take away from all these coaches. They want to establish an identity, a physical identity. Stopping the run, physical identity. Creating violence, physical identity. You know what I'm saying? Telling your players that when that ball's in the air, it's yours. A physical dominating mindset. That's what I like to hear from all of the coaches. I love that I've been hearing that. I love it. Now, all this is talk. It's all talk. I haven't said nothing about a Super Bowl or a playoff run or any of that. I ain't saying we got the best coaches in the league. I'm just saying I'm liking what I'm hearing. But it's all talk. I'm looking forward to the talk becoming actions. But unlike some haters that are in the comments typing right now, they just cooked. I get it. I know it's just February. But I cover the team as best as possible from a fan perspective. Cowboys fan talk, CFT. And if I don't like something, I'll say I don't like it. If I do, I do. I do like what I'm hearing from my coaches because it's breeding confidence and establishing identity. But they have to actually put actions to these words before I can really get on board. So we got a long way to go. I've been saying this all off season, brick by brick. Great coaching staff, great messaging. These are high regarded, hungry coaches, some from college, some established in the league. We're building. That's all I can say is we're building. Let's continue to build as we head towards roster building. And then once we get a picture of roster building for the first couple of weeks of free agency, we'll understand what the draft will look like. And I know we'll have time to keep adding to the roster, but we'll have a good picture of where we at. But let's keep building. Before you hate, all I'm talking about is building. Ain't nobody saying nothing crazy. But it's your boy, Mr. Rowan. Let me know what you think in the comments about what you heard from the coaches. Go watch some of the interview videos on the Dallas Cowboys YouTube. And on Twitter, you search some of the coaches' names, you'll get full interviews. I just want to give you my piece of it. I like it. If you don't like it, so be it. Brick by brick. Ow.